Hey guys, Jay of J by Grace, and welcome back, or welcome to my YouTube channel. I wanted to get into the topic of singleness today. It's interesting, I did a video about this last year and it never got posted because it was literally a ramble fest of me talking about my singleness, but I think as time has gone on, it is something that's really heavy on my heart to discuss. And yeah, so let's get into it. First of all, I am 25 years old. I've been single my whole life. It's funny because on our episode of Focused Faith, we have an episode on singleness. It's called What the Single, which is the original component to this video. This is a spinoff from my perspective by myself. I say that as if I wasn't there, but some additional feedback and content that I wanted to input into this video. It's funny talking about singleness because as a 25-year-old, if you would have told me 15 years ago that I would be single at 25, I would have been like, no, I would be married and probably talking about having a kid or having a couple of kids or something at 15, because when you're 15, you think that 25 is just so far away. And now as a 25-year-old, I'm like, finally embracing and understanding, like, oh, I understand why I'm so single. I get it. And I don't say that as if like I understand God's timing, but I think the mindset that I had my entire life, which is why I struggled in my singleness to begin with, that is what caused me to be super self-conscious, to feel inferior, to feel less than when it came to me as a single versus those around me who were in relationships. Now, I always viewed relationships and idolized relationships in a sense. To me, having another person meant having purpose. That meant having a reason. You know, God all of a sudden mysteriously uncovered my the job that he wanted me to do in a relationship, versus as a single, it's kind of a matter of, oh, I'm just sitting on my hands waiting for God to tell me what he wants me to do. I'm just gonna sit here and chill and be easy. But in the time of that, I felt like an inferior. I felt like I was not good enough. Like there was obviously something wrong with me that caused me to not be in a relationship, because I didn't have what I thought at the time was love, which we'll cover that in another video, from a man, that there was obviously something wrong with me and it was my fault. And it was funny because I was talking to my cousin the other day and she was saying that it's weird that this time a year and a half ago, I was so hard pressed to be in a relationship, or to make the relationship that I was out at the time, but make the relationship that I was in, stretch it to be what I felt like it was supposed to be, because it was like, well, obviously God hasn't sent anyone else, so naturally this is who I'm supposed to be with. And that couldn't have been further from the truth, and it took me really stepping away. I was fortunate enough, and still am fortunate enough in my singleness, to have really good friends around me that are women of God, that are single. We're all essentially around the same age, that we're doing life together, and we're understanding and knowing that though we all are single at this point and we all have a desire to be married, that there's so many other things that God has us doing right now. Like our podcast, me and two of my really good friends, we have a podcast, Tasia and Mimi, love them to pieces. We have a podcast together, and that has helped me to kind of open up and understand that there's a contentment in being single. There's purpose and understanding, like, okay, these are the things that, this is the time in my life. Yes, I have a desire to be married and that will come, but this is the time in my life where I can focus on, okay, God, what are you trying to tell me? What, in our quiet time together, when I'm reading my word, or when I'm praying, or when I'm, learning or overcoming a lesson, what is it that you want me to know and understand? What is it that you want me to do in all this spare time? Because y'all, I'll tell you, I'm very busy, but it's interesting that I essentially control my schedule. And I think that's something that, like, we as singles tend to take for granted. I'm not throwing any shade on married people. I'm not throwing shade on married. I'm not throwing shade, because that is where I will end up. I know that is the result or checkpoint. I don't want to say destination, but checkpoint that God has in my life. But at the same time, there's so many good qualities in being single. Like, there's so much that we can do right now as single people, be it male or female, because you're still on this earth. And I think the issue that happens today is that you compare. I was terrible at comparing. You compare yourself to people around you, and then you get this misconception of, oh, well, because I'm single, I can't do this, this, and this. Are you breathing or are you not breathing? Like, the reason that you are still on this earth, the reason why you differ from someone who didn't wake up today is because you still have a purpose and a plan for your life, and it is imperative that you understand that now. I was talking to someone on the phone earlier today, and she had asked me my perspective on what I thought about singleness and what I thought about relationships and things that I've experienced. And I have seen and grown up in such I viewed marriage in such a unique way, because my family is very unique, and we'll get into that a little bit later. But I've seen so many of the negative things that come along with not properly preparing and not properly allowing God to align a man and a woman within a marriage and within a relationship. Now, I'm not saying that allowing God to showcase who your mate is doesn't mean that you're not going to have problems, right? Because obviously you are going to have problems. But I've seen so much, and from inside of my family and externally, of people that have settled, people that have felt like God's forgotten about them, people who have, and trust me, I'm one of those people who has felt forgotten many a times, that the Lord still is working in me to continue to remind me that that's not the case at all. And I think that's another reason why I really put a large emphasis on, God, I'm going to let you do what you do. I've spent my life allowing, you better hurry up and get this one because you're going to miss out and you're going to miss him. And it's like, but if I'm going to miss him, was he mine to begin with? You know what I mean? Like, when you think about things like that, it's like, God, he orchestrates people's relationships to come together. He orchestrates people to be united as one, because that's what he created before we even got here. Like, we can't put our way of thinking over God's way of thinking. Like, that just doesn't, that doesn't make sense. You know what I mean? And so for me now, when I hear about someone or am learning about someone new, it's a matter of, I say, okay, God, if it's not from you, block it, because I refuse to be in anything that God did not orchestrate for me. I want to be in a relationship that is God-filled, Christ-centered. That doesn't mean there's not going to be issues. That doesn't mean I don't have my stuff that I need to work on, because trust me, baby, I got a list for you. But what I'm saying is, you have to just trust God, allow him to dig into the root of what's going on. Like right now, I started counseling sessions and dealing with rejection and hurt and abandonment and things that have hindered me from, even if I was in a healthy relationship, which I wasn't, but even if I was in a relationship, I would have hindered because of the things that I had not allowed God to heal in me, within me. And that's something that's so super imperative now. But all in all, I just say that, like, enjoy and embrace your singleness. I am thrilled. I pray for my husband daily. That's a post that I wrote on my blog, a prayer for my husband, because I do pray for him daily, because I do believe that he is on his way and know that he's on his way. But like, child, there's so much that I'm doing right now that we're not going to be able to do once we get married. And I think rushing through this, like, we feel like time is moving so slow, but in reality, time is flying, okay? It is moving and grooving. It ain't waiting for nobody. And we have to really appreciate and embrace these seasons and these moments that we're in right now. Singleness being one of them. And so I say all that to say again that enjoy your singleness. There's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with us. We're great. I'd like to think that God made me look kind of cute, I guess. And it's just important that we really embrace and understand that God has a plan for us. We're not forgotten. We have a purpose right now. So what is it that you're not doing that you're supposed to be doing? That's the real question. I pray that you all enjoyed this video. I am praying for you all. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and leave your love in the comment box, and all of my other information about the podcast and J by Grace, and anything else that I'm doing. I started a vlog, Life with Jay. All of that information will be in the description box, as well as on my channel as well. So, pray you enjoyed this video. Love ya. Bye.
Happy New Year! Happy New Year! Happy New Year! For Happy New Year for you! Happy! Ooh, your boy!